Hi everyone, thanks for joining us at this year's Heart Festival. My name is Claire D'Amato, and I am the Assistant Curator of Education and Outreach at the Zimmerli Art Museum. Today we're going to talk a little bit about bees and butterflies in art. Bees are often associated with community, teamwork, and new adventures. Butterflies often represent growth, transformation, and joy. Keep these words in mind as we look at a few examples from the Zimmerli's collection of how artists have depicted bees and butterflies throughout history. Then, we'll work together to make our own bees and butterflies using a few simple materials. This first image, Nasturtiums and Bees, is a print by artist Marie Gautier, who made many works depicting plants and animals. Notice how Gautier uses just a few colors to really emphasize what is happening in the print. You can see a group of bees flying towards some flowers, probably looking to collect pollen for their colony. These bees look remarkably realistic, and you can tell that they are on a mission. This next image is an illustration from Takayo Noda's children's book, Song of the Flowers, which celebrates nature and the creatures that inhabit it. In this illustration, made with watercolor paint and collage, we see a small community of bees headed from their nest to a giant sunflower. Notice bees are buzzing around this flower, and their placement makes them seem to come alive, like they'll fly right off the page. While I wouldn't want to meet the bees in Gautier's print, I think Noda's bees seem pretty friendly. Continuing with another page from Song of the Flowers, here we see a landscape that features a pair of yellow butterflies. Also made with watercolor and paper collage, these happy butterflies help the story transition from day to night. You'll notice that Noda's flowers, bees, and butterflies are larger than in real life, but that's part of what makes them so charming, because you can see the details in the butterflies and the small shadows beneath their wings. It's almost like you can imagine them fluttering throughout the book. In Bertha Lum's Butterfly Dance, the butterflies are an integral part of the story that inspired the print. According to a Chinese legend, butterflies were used to help pick a companion for the emperor. Whomever the butterfly landed on first would be the one chosen as companion for the day. Not only does Lum show a graceful swarm of butterflies, she positions them in such a way that you can imagine them circling around the women, flying up and around until one decides to land. The butterflies are what really animate this scene. Our last image, Composition with a Butterfly, by Nikolai Vechtomov, is very different from the other works we have seen. This artist isn't interested in showing things realistically. Instead, he focuses on curving lines and shapes, and uses just a few colors to create his painting. The butterfly isn't even in the foreground, so it might take a little time to find it among the other flowing shapes. Now that you've seen some of the different ways that artists have depicted bees and butterflies, it's your turn. Let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to make thumbprint bumblebees and thumbprint butterflies. So you're going to need your markers, a glass of water, paper towel, your piece of paper, and of course, your fingers. So let's get started with a bumblebee. So I'm going to grab my yellow marker and I'm going to color my pointer finger. Make sure it's all filled in really well. And I'm going to put my finger down on the paper, and you can see that it leaves a nice yellow thumbprint. Now, I'm going to rinse my finger off in the water, dry it off, just trying to avoid getting my markers all messy from the different colors I'll be using. Now, my bumblebee needs some wings, so I'm going to take the gray marker, because it can kind of look a little transparent, and I'm going to color my pinky finger. Since it's smaller, it'll make a nice shape for the bumblebee's wings. So I'll put a wing on one side of my bumblebee, then I'll just turn the paper a little, put a wing on the other side, rinse my finger off. And then bumblebees have stripes, so gotta draw those stripes in with my little marker. And then I'm gonna give my bee some eyes and a tiny stinger. And you're all set. Okay, so next we are going to make a butterfly. So I'm grabbing my pink marker, just because that's the color I feel like starting with, but you can make your butterfly any color you want. And I'm going for some big wings, so I'm going to color my middle fingertip. And then I'm going to end up making 4 fingerprints. So it'll kind of be like an X shape, because when you think about butterflies, they are symmetrical. So mine won't be perfectly symmetrical, but at least it'll get the idea across. All right, rinse my finger off, and I think I'm gonna add a little personality to my butterfly and do a little purple accent. So I'm gonna color my pinky finger, and I'm gonna just sort of repeat the same motions that I made for the wings out of the pink marker, but with my purple marker. All right. And you can see it's definitely not perfect, but part of the charm of these drawings is that they're whimsical, so it's okay. Don't stress out about it. Now my butterfly needs a body, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw one with my black marker. I'll give it some antenna, and then I think I'm gonna just leave it like it is for right now. But we're gonna make another butterfly, and I'll show you just some of the possibilities that you can do if you want to embellish your butterfly's wings with a marker. So we're going to make a blue butterfly, and I'm going to color my pointer finger this time, just for something different. Sometimes if you turn the paper a little bit instead of your finger, it makes putting the wings together a lot easier. You don't have to reach over at a weird angle. All right, I rinse my finger off this time. And then, let's see, we're gonna give the butterfly a different looking body. These little circles. You can really add any sort of details that you want. And I'm gonna give this butterfly some polka dot wings. All right, and there you go. So you can see there's different ways you can make your butterflies. You can use whatever colors you want, any patterns you want. All right, so let's try and put our bumblebees and our butterflies together and make a great landscape picture. For my landscape picture, I'm using the techniques that we just learned to make my own butterflies and bumblebees. I decided to also add some fingerprint flowers and clouds. There's a lot of options when you use your fingerprints. You just have to be creative. You can also draw in things like birds and grass, as I did here, to complete your landscape. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial for fingerprint art and that you'll continue to be creative at home. Feel free to follow the Zimmerli Art Museum on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We hope to see you online and in person once we reopen. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.